Part 25. Fantasy, I Robbed Millions of Saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 245. The purple cloud saint seemed to have heard a huge joke. The holy sun is thin-skinned. Who can come up with such an idea? How shameless! Chenzian suppressed the anger in her heart and scolded, "If you want to be a slave, go yourselves. Want to force me to dream?" The purple electric arcs formed circles of protection, perfectly protecting Chenzian. Dayun's aura circulated around her body in an orderly manner, long and deep. When the elder felt the other's aura, his expression suddenly froze. "You, actually advanced." Originally, Chenzian and Yunfengqi were both at the 6th level of the Unity realm. Unexpectedly, Chenzian made progress after some hard training and was directly promoted to the 7th level of the Unity realm. Among the saints, except for the flying saint, the highest realm. The elder looked at the saint in the ark and felt furious in his heart. "I am in the 9th level of the Unity realm, don't you believe that I can take care of a little girl like you? As long as I accomplish this great feat, the saint can do it again." After saying that, the elder directly sacrificed the long sword. Purple thunder circulated on the sword body, showing the power of thunder. Chenzian had no time to pick up the weapon, and the same purple thunder was released from her fingers, entwined together, one ebbing and the other ebbing. It's just that in just a few breaths, the gap in realm gradually became apparent, and the elder began to press down on Chenzian. A palm hit Chenzian on the shoulder, causing her to spurt out a mouthful of blood. The elder stood with the sword and asked condescendingly, "I'll give you the last an opportunity, will you go tomorrow?" "Don't go." "Good. Then I'll subdue you and feed you the 10 fragrant hoop spiritual pill, and send it over as well." Chenzian has the will to die. She knew this would be the outcome a long time ago. No matter what, this is her choice. She would rather die than surrender. Looking at the long sword that was about to hit her head, Chenzian slowly closed her eyes. "What are you doing?" A clear and beautiful voice fell from the sky. The pain of tearing flesh and blood that she imagined did not appear. As soon as Chenzian opened her eyes, she saw 2 extremely beautiful women floating in the air. The elder had long been thrown aside and turned into a pool of water. Meat paste. Qin Changshen didn't know because he had caused so many unprovoked things. Lu Ruyan was cutting up the fairy fruit beside her and feeding it to Qin Changshen's mouth bit by bit. "Young master, guess what I brought you?" With a string of laughter like silver bells, Shangguan Shishi led Han Jiaran into the hall. Behind the two of them, followed a girl in purple who looked seriously injured. A quick glance showed that the system had sent the girl's information. Name, Chenzian. Physique, innate thunder body. Bloodline, 9th grade thunder snake bloodline. Realm, Unity realm 7th heaven. Combat skill, 6th grade Xian level combat skill thunder and resolute wind movement, peak. 6th grade Xian level combat skill Bio Thunderju, perfection. The 7th level profound level combat skill Thousands of Thunders, perfection. Qin Changsheng swallowed the fairy fruit in his mouth. He was so lucky that he couldn't stop it. He just went out to send an invitation, but he actually picked it up. Return an experience pack. Shangguan Shishi gave a brief explanation. After they sent the invitations from the Thousand Machine Poison sect, when they passed by the Ziyunlei sect, they saw Chenzian fighting with an old man. Yunfengqi was watching from the side. "I didn't like him, so I saved her. Only on the way did I realize that it was the holy lady Ziyun." Chenzian looked at Qin Changshen with mixed emotions. It was because of this man that she and the elder of the sect broke out and started fighting. She couldn't forget that the elder said with a ferocious face that he wanted to feed her the 10 fragrant hoop spirit pill, directly sent to Qin Changshen's house. In the end, it was his subordinate, the little maid, who saved her. In the end, she took her to his courtyard. Is this the power of fate? Just as she was about to say thank you, Chen Zian felt a sudden flash in front of her eyes. What? He was thrown into a small world. Outside the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Qin Changsheng said to Shang Guan Shishi go and explain to her, and treat her injuries on the way. Han Jiaran also volunteered to go in. She and Chen Zian had a similar experience. Chen Zian's desperate eyes made her feel pity. Since she can be redeemed, so can she. I hope I can help her. Qin Changsheng is outside, enjoying the flow of mysterious aura until the realm stabilized. I plundered the purple cloud saint. Although I didn't advance directly, I clearly felt that I was about to touch the limit. As long as I got another experience pack, I was inside of promotion. I had a nice rest. In the evening, Chen Zian came out of Linglong Immortal Mansion to express her gratitude to Qin Changsheng. There were countless elixirs and elixirs in the Immortal Mansion. After taking it, her injuries were mostly healed. She walked to Qin Changsheng and bowed down. Thank you, young master, a life-saving grace. Qin Changsheng saw the struggle in her eyes and said directly, you don't have to be afraid. No one will force you to do anything you don't like here. Just practice with peace of mind and don't worry about anything else. Chen Zian nodded. Han Jiaran chatted with her for a long time yesterday. The same experiences made the two of them talk endlessly. Han Jiaran naturally told him that although the young master was very domineering, he would never force them. Plop! There was a light sound. Chen Zian was already kneeling on the ground and respectfully requested, Ziyi Yan has one more thing, and she needs help from the young master. Ziyunlei sect bullied me and harmed me, I will make them pay the price. As long as the young master avenges me, I am willing to do whatever he wants. Qin Changsheng stretched out his hand to help her up. Seeing the thunderous purple light surging in her eyes, he said, okay, as you wish. At close to noon, Qin Changsheng came to Piaoxiang Tower as scheduled. Piaoxiang Tower was booked today, and all the major sects came to say hello. The boss of Piaoxiang Tower also had his own information channels. I heard that he was a king. The alchemist immediately announced that he would not be open to the public today. The saints had been waiting in the hall for a long time, and when they saw Qin Changsheng, they gathered around him. Mr. Changsheng is so polite. The little grass jelly I sent is really not worth mentioning. Haha. Let me tell you, the young master is also a temperamental person. How wonderful it is that we come and go. I wonder what your son's hobbies are? The disciples I brought here are very talented. Everyone's attention was focused on Qin Changsheng, and they even spared no effort to please him. They flattered him wildly. Qin Changsheng lightly scanned the people brought by those guys, and unexpectedly, there was no saint. It couldn't be done. It's okay, there's no need to keep these people around. Qin feels that his piano skills are quite good, so let me play a piece for everyone. The saints naturally applauded and welcomed him, thinking that this was a sign of his sincere friendship. Thinking of this, a sense of contempt arose in the hearts of these saints. Their horizons are really shallow, and they were bribed by a little fairy grass. They are still too young. Qin Changsheng seemed not to notice, and took out the gherkin from the space ring. Ding! The sound of the piano has sounded, and the sound is melodious. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 246. Ding ding dong dong. The ethereal piano sounds sounded, everyone felt an inexplicable pressure coming from them, and their expressions changed instantly. Especially those with low cultivation, there were blood stains on the corners of their mouths. What do you mean? The faces of the saints changed greatly, and they subconsciously wanted to get up. Qin Changsheng smiled apologetically and said, sorry, I've become stronger again. The saints were stunned. If you apologize, we will definitely forgive you. But what do you mean when you praise yourself for becoming stronger? Show off to us. Something's wrong. Almost all of us here are at the level of unity. Hearing the sound of a piano makes you feel a little shocked and injured. This guy seems to be stronger than I thought. Everyone started to panic, but they still pretended to be calm. Qin Changshen looked at everyone with a smile as if nothing was wrong, and said with a relaxed expression, "Don't be nervous, everyone, was just auditioning. When I play the piano, I like to test the sound first. Now, I will officially play a song for you, the ending song." The Holy Sons are in a state of confusion. A king-level alchemist actually practices sonic attacks. Isn't this not doing his job properly? And, what the ending song is about? I haven't heard it at all. But, he said about the audition. Could it be said that his attacks will be even more violent next time? No. Impossible. How could he, an alchemist, have such a strong cultivation level? Who is he? Looking at the saint's sons, they are gradually becoming frightened. On his face, Qin Changshen's hand gently slid and played the piano music. Ding ding. Everyone present felt agitated, as if someone was holding a heavy hammer and beating their bodies randomly. Tang Xiao, the holy son of Qinji poison sect, stood up suddenly and wanted to rush out of Piaoxiang Pavilion. He had a premonition: run. Only by running out can you survive. Peng. In the end, his body was bounced back by an invisible barrier. Tang Xiao turned his head in disbelief and looked at Qin Changshen. This guy didn't know when he was able to hold himself up. The field. Clang. As soon as the voice changed, invisible sound waves tore through the space and rushed towards everyone with unrivaled momentum. Click. Click. Qin Changshen's sound blade only broke the bones and tendons of all the saints, but deliberately avoided the vital points. Although none of them were practitioners who cultivated their muscles and bones, after being continuously washed and tempered by Tao Yun, they were not considered to be Vajras. Bad, it can be said to be copper skin and iron bones. But now in Qin Changshen's hands, it is just a piece of fat on the chopping board. All the limbs were broken, and the severe pain was unbearable, and they groaned. Ah! Qin Changshen, what do you mean? Kill us if you can. Are you interested in humiliating us like this? I, Qinji Poison Sect, will fight to the death with you. Qin Changshen completely ignored their words. Fight to the death. If you die, won't you give up? And the sect behind you will disappear from this continent forever because of you. Qin Changshen called out from Linglong Immortal Mansion Chenzian. Chenzian saw clearly in the immortal mansion just now, and felt happy in her heart. She lightly said, "Thank you, Master, for avenging me." As soon as Qin Changshen raised his hand, the king's domain continued to tighten. The saint's sons lying on the ground were squeezing each other and letting out painful howls. The pain of the wound being squeezed and deformed was even worse than when it was injured. It hurts 10 times more. Ah! Kill me and give me pleasure. It hurts. You have to die a good death. Qin Changshen watched like this until they compressed into a big meatball and melted bit by bit, a sea of flesh and blood, regardless of each other. Qin Changshen left the dying Yun Fengqi behind and kicked him in front of Chenzi, "The execution power of this person is given to you. If you want to kill him, you can kill him. It is only satisfying to avenge oneself personally." After hearing Qin Changshen's words, Chenzian's eyes lit up, and purple thunder surged in her eyes. Among the clouds on the horizon, there was a faint sound of rolling thunder, which seemed to be responding to Chenzian's anger. Yunfeng rose above the twisted body. Suddenly a purple flame ignited. There was no temperature, but in the blink of an eye, a large living person was burned until only a handful of fly ash was left. The residents of Xiunlei section. Is there any treasures there? Qin Changshen stopped Chenzian and asked. Chen Zian shook his head. The so-called station is just to facilitate the business between the sect and Feiyang city. There are no treasures, but there are a lot of spiritual stones. Qin Changshen led her out as he went, while saying, in our industry, we also have professional ethics, so we must be dedicated. Go call the others and tell them to get to work. Chen Zian pursed her lips. Over the years, she has been following the rules and practicing seriously. She never thought that there are people in the world who live like this. It sounds quite exciting. Chen Zian even started to look forward to it. She didn't realize at all that she was led astray by this guy. Shang Guanshishi took Chen Zian and went directly to the Ziyunlei Sex station. The station elder was dead and the Holy Sun was killed. There were not many people in the station. Coupled with his low cultivation level, Shang Guanshishi solved them all in a few seconds. It just takes a long time to clean up the loot. There are not many treasures and techniques in total, and the spirit stones are indeed, as Chen Zian said, there is a huge amount. The purple light in Chen Zian's eyes flashed crazily, and it could be seen that she was still very excited. There are several companies around the station that are similar in size to Ziyunlei section. I believe they will also have a large income. Lu Ruyan burst out laughing, pointed at Chen Zian and said, Ziyan is really on the right track. She has such a career plan when she first came here. She has a promising future. Let's go find the young master. Qin Changshen took Han Jiaran to Qinji poison section. As soon as he reached the door, before he saw anyone, Han Jiaran shouted towards the gate of the station. Robbery. Hand over your saint. Take out all the valuable things for me too. Secret treasures, spiritual stones, techniques, none of them can be missing. The arrogant momentum is very impressive, and when paired with Han Jiaran's black gauze skirt, it's perfect. Qin Changshen rubbed his temples helplessly, and asked in a low voice, Beauty, are you serious? Han Jiaran was stopped by Qin Changshen's question. She pursed her lips tightly and said with some worry, I specifically asked Sister Ruyan for advice. Sister Ruyan said, how can one not know basic skills in a team? Did I say something bad? Do you want to do it again? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 247. Snapped. The protective formation protecting the station was activated instantly, and the lines of seals flickered on and off, and occasionally a few runes disappeared and appeared. Where did the little thief come from, talking nonsense here? Get out. Your grandpa, Arkanji poison sect is not a small section. Ah! Burn me to death. Help me. At first, the gatekeeper's cry of pain could be heard in the protective formation, but after a few breaths it became smaller and smaller, and it was obvious that it had turned into ashes. Han Jiaran looked coldly in the direction of the formation and said, anyone who dares to insult my young master again will die. Since she followed Qin Changshen, Han Jiaran has begun to learn more profound formation techniques, and recently she has achieved some success. Just with a thought, the Dao seal was placed accurately and cunningly, directly changing a corner of the formation and burning the gatekeeper to death. There are many points that need to be calculated and grasped. This shows that Han Jiaran is making rapid progress. Now the people in the formation were too frightened to move. What happened? Their protective formation was so good, why did the gatekeeper, himself, get burned? The fire burned too fast. The senior brother immediately used the freezing technique. Not only did he not stop it, but he watched the gatekeeper turn into ashes. Is that person outside the door a human or a ghost? Thoughtfully taking out a bamboo chair for Qin Changshen, Han Jiaran jumped into the air. Her voice was not loud, but the people inside could hear her clearly. Either hand over the baby. Either I activate the fire array and you die. Fire formation? The people in the station looked at the humanoid marks on the ground silently and couldn't help but shudder. That kind of unstoppable fire. It doesn't matter, maybe she's just bluffing us. The disciple who was called senior brother comforted the fellow disciples around him with a very small voice. The formation hasn't been broken yet, so it should be safe. 1. Let the elders know that if we abandon the sex headquarters and run out like this, we will still die. The senior brother suppressed the fear in his heart and said in a trembling voice. He said this not only to his classmates, but also to himself. His legs seemed to be starting to become self-aware, always wanting to go out. 2. Otherwise, we wait a little longer. This time, before senior brother could say anything, he was held tightly by the two junior brothers beside him and ran outside crazily. Senior brother, if you wait any longer, the female devil will light a fire. Sir, have mercy. Let's come out now. Goddess of fire, have mercy. We all follow orders and have never done anything bad. As soon as the resident disciples came out, they saw a woman in a black gauze skirt floating in the air. Her cold eyes swept over them. The fear of death almost overwhelmed their consciousness. Just one glance almost drove them crazy. Empty your treasures, spiritual stones, exercises, and saints. Anything less, death. The resident disciples nodded like crazy and rushed into the resident warehouse, fearing that if they ran too slow, their lives would be in danger. Boxes of pills and spiritual stones began to fill the entire open space. Lady Vulcan, we've finished moving, a disciple lowered his head flatteringly and reported. Han Jiaren glanced lightly, and when he raised his hand, the disciple's whole body was already ignited with flames. The flames seemed to ignite from the inside of the person, and were extremely intense. The faces of the people around him were illuminated by the flames. As pale as paper, I wanted to faint immediately. Before I could even ask why, I was already blown away in the air by the wind. Where are you, saints? Plop, plop. All the disciples knelt on the ground and kowtowed vigorously. There were dots of blood on the ground. Lord Vulcan, please have mercy. The saint left yesterday, we really don't know where she went. Although we are disciples, we are actually worse than handymen. I really don't know. Grandma Vulcan, Aunt Vulcan. Please spare me, it is the elder who has the final say on the station, you go find him. Yep. The elder went to visit the blazing demon section, you will definitely find him there. The resident disciples finally saved their lives. Now they just want to go home quickly. The orphan monks also just want to find a small home as soon as possible. The world of cultivation is too scary. Even the god of fire came out to rob the house. Han Jiaren fell down lightly. Only then did everyone see a calm and composed young man sitting below. Young master, do you think what I did is okay? The delicate voice, is this the goddess of fire, the devil just now? And, she called him young master, who is this young man? Qin Changsheng smiled slightly and said in a gentle tone, not bad. But, the speed can be faster. Devil. Everyone began to kowtow in the direction of Qin Changsheng. Isn't this speed fast? If it goes faster, it will be racing. Please, do your best and be a human being. In case the female Vulcan thinks that it is our action, wait a minute. Aren't you just killing one of our puppies? Sir, we are here. The poet of Shangguan poetry arrived before he came. A fragrant breeze blew, and the fairy in white clothes seemed to have just descended from the earth. But there are people in this world who can drag people into hell with just one sentence. Zunlei sect has been destroyed, and most of the spoils are spiritual stones. Fortunately, the quantity is pretty good. Everyone closed their eyes in fear. Are you really a fairy descending to earth, not a demon king? Was that tone of complaint just now serious? We have too few babies, So you are wronged. Now they no longer have any faith, they only think that Qin Changsheng sitting on the bamboo chair is the true God. Thank you for your hard work in teaching so many female devils. Everyone knelt on the ground devoutly until a huge noise came from the direction of the explosive flame demon sect, which made them come back to their senses. The devil is finally gone and our lives are saved. Thanks to my many generations of ancestors for blessing me. Let them destroy the people of the flame demon sect and suffer some pain. Scare them to death. Right? Let them know how we just felt. That feeling, ow ow ow, I really want to cry. The Shishi robbery team and the Changsheng robbery team joined forces, and easily resolved the battle. Even with the presence of two elders of the explosive flame demon sect, they could not prevent the fate of being destroyed. Even because of their presence, many disciples could only bite the bullet. Death. As a result, there were fewer free workers to help them move in the end. Qin Changsheng came up with a solution almost without thinking. Let them bring people to bring the disciples of the Qinji demon section. There is strength in numbers. Shangguan Shishi laughed so hard that his branches trembled with laughter, and praised young master is extremely intelligent, experienced, and knows too much. Qin Changsheng smiled without showing his teeth, and thought to himself, haha. You should be lucky that you haven't been robbed by me yet. Otherwise, I have to let you experience for yourself how much I know. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 247.5. Qin Changsheng didn't know about the Wang family's conspiracy. He doesn't care if he knows. Those sects have been targeted by him, and they are the meat in Qin Changsheng's bowl. It's just a difference between eating early and eating late. Come to the door yourself, or the other party comes to you. Anyway, the result is the same. Destroy. What Qin Changsheng is most concerned about now is to find those saints. Young master, the Burning Sea Holy Land station has arrived. Qin Changsheng looked over from a distance and saw many disciples in red robes walking around the station, seemingly looking for something. As if he thought of something, Qin Changsheng did not rush to jump off the palace, but sat down at the door. He took out his guqin. The saints didn't understand what Qin Changsheng was going to do. Was he really excited and wanted to play a song? Shangguan Shishi seemed to have something to say. How could he play the god of death's Qin well? Outsiders listen. If you want to listen, it is also a tune that demands death. Ding, dang. Obviously they are just two simple notes, but they are like a conch horn that mobilizes thousands of troops. Invisible gusts of wind are moving towards burning Holy Land, pounces on you. In a trance, countless cries of ghosts and wolves howled in and out of sight. Obviously, nothing can be seen in front of me. But I feel like hell is right in front of me. 10,000 ghosts are roaring at them, trying to drag them into boundless hell. Ah! No. Get out of here. Someone pull me, senior brother, help me. I don't want to die. There are no ghosts in this world. I will burn you with fire right now until your souls are all gone. No one knows exactly what they saw. But from their heart-rending roars, they can guess something. Shangguan Shishi shook his head as he looked at it, his beautiful eyes shining with hope. The cultivation of these people, the realm is too low. Even if the saint can play the piano, he cannot bear it. Qin Changsheng only played twice and then closed his eyes, as if he was comprehending something. After a moment, he opened his eyes and made a sound of piano towards the east. Ding. The sound of the piano is long and graceful. The sound waves did not turn into ancient runes, but turned into invisible lines, rushing towards the east. No, people are not in the east. Shangguan Shishi stood next to Qin Changsheng and asked curiously after hearing his words, Master, what are you doing? Use the sound of the piano to find someone. Shangguan Shishi only asked tentative questions. She has extensive knowledge, but she has not thought of any feasible solutions. Qin Changsheng has long understood Shang Guanshishi's intelligence. She is the saint of Yaokai, so she is naturally not comparable to ordinary people. Although she does not know what is going on. But you can always guess the point. This is already amazing. You see, the terrain here is extremely uneven, and there are many mountains and forests behind it. It will take a lot of manpower to find people. If I use sound waves to test forward, I will reverse the tilt direction when encountering obstacles. And I just need to listen to the direction of these sound waves, and then match the tilt angle and speed. I can infer the terrain and... Are there any hidden people or hidden treasures? This is just a small operation for Qin Changsheng, who has become a saint in Qin Dao. But such a small operation makes people want to worship. The saint takes action, and this is how he turns decay into magic. If someone had talked to Shang Guanshishi before she said that there is someone in this world who is 19 years old and is extremely talented, has become a saint in the five paths, and is a master of the Yunhai realm, she must be joking that it is just a dream. But now this person is looking at her with a smile. This feeling. My heartbeat is speeding up. The deer bumped into each other. After several operations, a smile appeared in Qin Changsheng's eyes, which gradually spread like ripples. He really let himself run into a dead mouse. In one small attempt, he caught 3 little mice. Qin Changsheng immediately put away his harp and jumped out of the palace, flying towards the south. On the mountain behind Burning Sea Holy Land, 3 women were hiding in a cave. A woman in green looked outside and asked worriedly, "Your disciples have been searching for people, wouldn't they find them here?" "Don't worry, there is no bonus for practicing here, they will never come," the woman in red said loudly. The 3 of them were the saint of Burning Sea Holy Land, the saint of Dangxia Holy Land, and the saint of Tiandao sect. They were all forced to be slaves and ran away angrily because they were dissatisfied. The reason why they stayed here, it is also a desperate move. Those saints who went back to the sect directly were sure that the sect master would not blame themselves for this. It was almost certain that they went back to find someone to support them. If they went back, the sect master heard about this. I can only blame her for not seizing the opportunity and not considering the sect. In the dilemma, she can only leave. Alas, I don't know how we should proceed next. The woman in white who had been silent until now spoke quietly. Suddenly, they heard a man say, "Follow me." The 3 of them were startled. They raised their protective shields without hesitation and looked at the person cautiously. They couldn't understand how this person could appear here without any sound. They also placed several simple protective formations at the door, but none of them were activated. "Is your luck so unlucky? Who are you, and why do you break into the back mountain of my Burning Sea Holy Land?" The Burning Sea Saint pulled out a fiery red sword and stood in front of the 2 saints. Qin Changsheng looked at her leisurely, but she was a righteous girl, so he said calmly, "I'm here to rob." Robbery. The 3 saints looked at each other. The robbery came to the back mountain? Who believes it? Hunting is more like it. The Burning Sea Saint thought for a while, took out some spiritual stones from the storage space and threw them to Qin Changsheng. "Hey, our situation is not much better than yours, just grab these emergency supplies." Emergency? Qin Changsheng looked at the spirit stone in his hand and was stunned. He thought he was a little thief. "I'm just here to inform you, this station is now owned by me, and everything in it is naturally mine. You are mine too." Bang! The 3 defensive shields shattered at the same time, making a loud noise. Before they could react, the 3 saints had arrived in another small world. Looking at the top-quality spiritual stones piled on the ground, the face of the Burning Sea Saint was filled with anger. He immediately turned red, looked at his companions beside him, and asked, "Did I just give him the spirit stone? That person wouldn't think that I was humiliating him, right?" The more the saintess of Burning Sea thought about it, the more depressed she became. She really thought that the other party was short of money. Suddenly, a few chuckles came from behind her. "Sisters, welcome to be the young master's little maids." "Maid? Why don't you understand? Isn't this robbery? Why did you catch them, to work?" Concubine Murong had just come out of seclusion, and she became very playful when she saw the three women trapped in the trap. She loves teasing the young master the most. "Little maid. Some sisters come here, let me explain to you. Our young master, yes. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints." Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 248. Qin Changshen himself didn't believe it. His random idea was blown up along the way. "Isn't this too smooth? The robbery speed has obviously increased a lot. All I can say is that this move of the young master is absolutely amazing for defeating an enemy without fighting." As soon as they saw those people from the sect, they were immediately convinced. "These porters are great at acting. Tisk tisk tisk, if it weren't for the trouble and the food and drink, I would have packed them away. Porter, thank you for the trouble. Save our life." Shang Guanshishi's housekeeper was calculating the accounts as well, and muttered, 7 sects have been cleared now, and the one that has gained the most is the spiritual stone. The 7 saints, except Ziyan, all 6 saints left the station and returned directly to the section. In the next station of the Blue Water Demon Palace, there is a great hope of meeting the saint. Most of the saints are the direct disciples recruited by the Holy Lord, or they were adopted directly at a young age. They are just to decorate the sect's vases, as icing on the cake. They have status but no real power. But the Blue Water Demon Palace is different. The current palace owner is a woman, and she is also the mother of the saint. Therefore, the saint not only has status in the Blue Water Demon Palace, but also has real power. Resident elders like Fei Yang Wangchen may not dare to make plans for the saint. There is no threat. Naturally, he wants to stay and participate in the discussion and marriage. Qin Changshen looked at Shang Guanshishi, who was trying his best to plan for him, and felt warm in his heart. Set off. Next stop, the Blue Water Demon Palace. After arriving at the destination, they jumped off the flying palace and looked at the giant building hanging on the lake from a distance. The saints couldn't move their eyes away. The formations on the lake should have been laid out by masters of formations. The entire lake was covered with magic. It has become the floor of the residence. The lake water is sparkling in the wind, and the movement and stillness of the suspended building are perfect. The entire surface of the building is made of a kind of transparent spar. It is said that this kind of spar is not expensive to make, and it has a glow under the sunlight. It emits a special light. After absorbing enough sunlight energy during the day, it can still emit weak fluorescence at night. From a distance, it looks like a fairyland. It is precisely because of this beauty that the station has become several cities around it. It is a very famous existence in the world, and many people come here just to enjoy it from a distance. Shang Guanshishi said excitedly, "So, the Blue Water Demon Palace is very interesting. Let's go quickly." Before he could say anything about going to rob, he was suddenly interrupted by a shout, "Robbery! Bring out your most valuable treasure." Qin Changshen glanced at the robber and saw that the robber was a girl of 15 or 16 years old. A pink skirt made her look as delicate and cute as a porcelain doll. The face with a little baby fat is so white and tender that it makes people want to take a bite just looking at it. Opposite the porcelain doll stood a group of female monks, holding high-level standard long swords. It's just that his expression looks a little weird. Oops. You are talking, the porcelain doll stomped its feet vigorously, grinning like a fierce little tiger. The female monk leader walked out of the queue expressionlessly, took out a wooden box from the storage ring, and stuffed the porcelain doll into it. In his hand. The robber threw his hands away angrily. "Just think of it as a drill, can you be more serious? How can a guard captain stuff something into a robber? You, are you sending beggars away? This scene made Qin Changsheng and others laugh. The guard captain had a lifeless expression. This scene must have been played many times. In a hurry, the system sent the porcelain doll's information. Name, Zhuang Zili. Physique, innate water heart overlord. Bloodline, 9th grade blue-tailed fox bloodline. Realm, Unity Realm 6th heaven. Combat technique, 5th grade Xian level combat skill snow mountain flying fox body technique, peak. 6th grade Xian level combat skill golden water silk winding technique, perfect. The 7th grade Xian level combat skill falling flowers and flowing water sword, perfect. The 7th grade Xian level skill Xiaoi wind and rain technique, perfect. Just as Qin Changsheng thought, the porcelain doll is his goal this time. The saint of the Blue Water Demon Palace. Not only did she not hide, but she was playing house here with great interest. Not bad. He finally found a sect residence with a saint. Qin Changsheng seemed to see the experience package waving. He said with a smile, "You dare to play with this kind of thing? What an insult to our profession. Shishi, go and show this little girl what a real robber is." Shangguan Shishi and Qin Changsheng had the same mind. She floated into the air and directly released the power of the avenue. With a lotus mark under her feet, she walked towards the station. The porcelain doll Zhuang Zili looked at it dumbfounded, almost doubting her own eyes. Isn't it an hallucination? Why do I seem to see a goddess descending to earth, stepping on blossoming lotus flowers and coming through the air? Is there really such a beautiful woman in this world? I really want to take off her veil and take a look. It's the same for a woman. Fascinated. It wasn't until a golden light flashed in front of his eyes that Zhuang Zili realized that he and the escort had been trapped in the field supported by the beauty for some time. The mark of the avenue, the sounds of the avenue, this it is the realm of kings. A realm that can only be performed by the kings of Yunhai realm. In the realm of kings, Shangguan Shishi is the absolute king. The energy of heaven and earth began to surge crazily, and Shangguan Shishi's voice spread faintly. Robbery. Hand over all your geniuses, treasures, and saints. The guard captain felt that she was crazy. Her thoughts seemed to be out of control and gradually deviated from the course. She was suppressed in the realm of Yunhai realm. She was even thinking about letting her saint and others study hard. Wait. Look at their aura. The tone and rhythm of their words. This is robbery, okay. To rob, you have to do it with real guns and live ammunition. You are whining like a kitten with bared teeth. Just kidnap and run away. Zhuang Zili also wanted to go crazy. She couldn't figure it out. She just had a whim, and practiced a robbery in her own home. How could she be kidnapped? Not only in this way, Zhuang Zili was suddenly pulled into the air by a force, and fell straight into the arms of a man. The fairy sister who had the appearance of an immortal and made people unable to help but worship her at a glance said, words, like the devil at the bottom of hell. I think she has the potential to be a robber. Go back after the robbery and develop your offline skills. Before Zhuang Zili was thrown into the Linglong Immortal Mansion, he had only one thought in his mind. If I could do it all over again, I would definitely be a good person. Things like robbery are really too dangerous. You never know who you will meet. I got myself involved. Is this the mantis stalking the cicada, with the oriole behind? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 249. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, you successfully robbed the Saint of Blue Water, Zhuang Zili, and the rewards are being calculated. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, the Saint of Clear Water, Zhuang Zili, has reached the 6th level of the Unity Realm. After 10 times the gain, I will give back to the Holy Lord. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Lord. Zhuangziali, the saint of clear water, has an innate water-centered body. After 10 times the gain, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Lord, the saint of blue water. Zhuangziali, has the bloodline of the 9th grade green-tailed fox. After 10 times the gain, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Master. The combat skills of the Saint of Clear Water Zhuangziali are the 5th grade profound level combat skill Snow Mountain Flying Fox Body Technique, Peak. The 6th grade Xian level combat skill Golden Water and Silk Winding Technique, Perfection. The 7th grade Xian level combat skill Falling Flowers and Flowing Water Sword, Perfection. The 7th level Xian level skill Xiao Wind and Rain Technique, Perfect. After 10 times the gain, give back to the Holy Lord. Endless energy rushes into the body crazily, and the rapid flow of it, the feeling of comfort is simply addictive. Comfortable. He opened his eyes suddenly, and a light and shadow that looked like substance flashed past, hiding in his eyes. Qin Changshen checked his realm and confirmed that he had been promoted to the 7th level of Yunhai realm. As for physique and bloodline, these require a lot of accumulation and cannot be advanced overnight. But Qin Changshen himself could feel that their progress bar was filling up bit by bit. With his current level of cultivation at the 7th level of Yunhai realm, Qin Changshen also has faith in the Fei Yang Holy Lord of Fei Yang Royal City. What about the 9th level of Yunhai realm? When the guard captain saw Zhuangziali disappearing, his expression suddenly changed. She is not a resident disciple at the residence, but an accompanying escort of Saint Zhuangziali. Something happened to her master, and she couldn't escape the blame. But within the realm of Shangguan Shishi, how could she be allowed to be so arrogant? Kneel down. Shangguan Shishi shouted loudly, and the guard captain felt as if a stormy wave had set off in the sea of consciousness, and his body knelt down uncontrollably. It was not out of necessity, but a pious kneeling deep in the soul. Everyone in the station was called out. There are quite a few registered disciples, but there is no resident elder. Where have your resident elders gone? After hearing Shangguan Shishi's question, several disciples, you look at me, I look at you, betray the elder, is this okay? Still struggling and hesitating, a series of rhyme palm prints appeared out of thin air, and the two people at the front were shrouded in it. Without the slightest resistance, they have been beaten to pulp by De Yun's palm. The other disciples were so frightened that they fell on the ground, and finally realized that their fate was still in their hands, so they said loudly, Elder, was driven away by the saint. Go out and find the sun. The blood and flesh of the Holy Sun must have been cleaned up by Biaoxiang Pavilion a long time ago. Shangguan Shishi began to arrange the work of the porters. Although she tried her best not to look away, the fleshy paste on the ground still appeared repeatedly in her field of vision. Chiang resisting the fear in their hearts, the porters hinted to themselves, I am just a tool man, I do not have senses. Unfortunately, this harvest is not very satisfactory. The storage capacity of spiritual stones in the Blue Water Demon Palace is not as good as other stations. Many. No way, how could he be so poor if he could afford such a luxurious residence? Everyone present looked at the hill-like pile of spiritual stones on the ground. Well, he is indeed very poor. There is nothing wrong with him. Shangguan Shishi, who was not willing to accept it, inquired carefully and found out that the resident building looked fairy-like and beautiful. Beauty, in fact, relies on the stimulation of a large number of spiritual stones to be so outstanding. Day after day, non-stop consumption, naturally costs a lot more than other residences. Although you earn more than others, the expense is even bigger, the difference in numbers came out. In order to make up for this loss, Shangguan Shishi and Han Jiaran studied and demolished the small building and took it into the Linglong Immortal Mansion. He. From now on, this glowing building will be ours. The two of them also discussed that they should place the small building next to Linghu Lake. This way, when they are tired from practicing, they can go in and take a look at the scenery. If they are in a good mood, they will upgrade faster. The porters were speechless. We all have a great cause, come out to carry out robberies, and even demolish other people's houses. You deserve to be rich. The residence of the Blue Water Demon Palace has been completely destroyed, and the saint has become the new little maid. When everything is settled, they are ready to when it is time to leave. Bold maniac. Dare to commit murder within the confines of my Fei Yang royal city. The escort team was ordered to come and arrest him. Before he finished speaking, a burst of sound broke through the air one after another, and a well-trained team appeared in front of everyone. The leader was a middle-aged man with a gloomy face. He looked at Qin Changsheng and the others with a cold look in his eyes. It feels like a snake. Shang Guanshishi caught a glimpse of the mark on his brocade robe, and whispered in Qin Changsheng's ear, "It should be from the Wang family. I also saw it on the corner of Wang Xianjiu's clothes. Pass this mark." Qin Changsheng didn't care at all. They didn't hide their whereabouts at all, and they didn't kill them all along the way. It was only a matter of time before the news got out. Coming back to Fei Yang King City with us is an explanation. The middle-aged man was the first to speak. Qin Changsheng looked over, his voice full of joking. "Should I give you an explanation, or you should give me an explanation?" The middle-aged man felt that the strings in his head were broken. "I am so serious, are you kidding me? You destroyed so many residents in Fei Yang King City, and you still want me to explain to you? What should I explain to you? Can we still communicate normally? Ahem, since you dare to do it, you should think of the consequences you will bear. Stop talking nonsense and follow me." The middle-aged man was unwilling to talk to Qin Changsheng for fear of shortening his life. Qin Changsheng stood there with no intention of following him. "What if I don't go? Step over your dead body." The middle-aged man is not feeling well. I shouldn't talk to him. It's too irritating. He has never seen a bloody martial arts movie, so he wouldn't say anything about stepping on my body. This is training in this world, isn't it very common to step on corpses? Speaking of this, how unlucky. I can't bear it anymore. Isn't this a slap in the face? Just when the middle-aged man was about to call his men to do it together, Qin Changsheng's whole aura suddenly changed. After a sudden change, he was completely different from the young man who had just opened his mouth to make fun of him. It was like a sharp knife being drawn out of its sheath, and its throat was sealed with blood. Plop, plop, plop. A succession of voices came from behind the middle-aged man. Turning around slowly in confusion, he saw his members of the escort team. All of them had fallen to the ground, dead. The eyes of the team members were condensing with their death. All the fear from the previous moment. On the chest, there was a wound exuding awe-inspiring sword intent, and blood was pouring out. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 250. Invisible sword energy, directly killing so many masters of the Unity realm at the same time. Could it be said, is this the strength of a swordsman saint? No, it's impossible. As soon as the middle-aged man thought of this, he immediately denied himself. How old is Qin Changsheng? In today's world, how difficult is it to attain enlightenment and become a saint? Even though he has been practicing for so many years, he still treats the matter of becoming a saint as a story. The middle-aged man didn't dare to think about the reason anymore. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to bear it. So what if the opponent is not a swordsman? What he did just now, there was no way he could do it again. Shang Guanshishi quickly stepped forward and placed a soul mark on him so that he could not betray Qin Changsheng, and then let him go. "Young master, why, don't you just kill this Wang Sheng?" Shang Guanshishi asked in confusion. She knew that Qin Changsheng was not a soft-hearted person. Although he did not kill innocent people indiscriminately, he was unambiguous when he should do it. What's more, there are not many good people in the Wang family. Why would she be so kind all of a sudden? Qin Changsheng grabbed her slender waist and said, "So his name is Wang Sheng. I think he is the guard captain of Feiyang Royal City, and he has the mark of a direct lineage of the Wang family. If anything happens, he will be found soon. There won't be much time left for us then. He lives to buy us some time." Shang Guanshishi nodded thoughtfully. She really didn't consider this. She smiled sweetly and said, "Thank you, Master, for your advice." On the way to the next target, Zhuang Zili was released. As soon as she appeared, she looked at Qin Changsheng eagerly and asked the sister inside said, "As long as I follow you obediently, you can teach me anything, right?" "Really?" Qin Changsheng felt a headache and asked alertly, "What do you want to learn?" "Robbery. My sisters said this is a basic operation." Qin Changsheng said that he was also very helpless. "So, this is basically birds of a feather flocking together, right? Why do good saints, after entering Linglong Immortal Mansion, all fall in love with robbing? The Tiandao sex station is destroyed. The Holy Land of Creation is destroyed. The residence of Dangxia Holy Land is destroyed." While Qin Changsheng was looting, the leader of Qinji Poison sect sent people to Feiyang King City to ask about the whereabouts of the Holy Sun. The leader of Xiunlei sect sent people to Feiyang King City to ask about the whereabouts of the Holy Sun and the Saint. Exploding Flame Demon the sect leader sent people. Holy Lord Feiyang was in retreat. They were anxious and began to contact the 4 major families closest to their sect, hoping that they could make decisions for themselves. This was the Holy Sun and Saint, the hope of their section. Besides, this time it was Holy Lord Feiyang who said that he wanted to select the Holy Sun and Saint with the best qualifications. Their sect leader only allowed the Holy Sun to come because of his face. He just disappeared in Feiyang King City inexplicably. Why? How can I ask for justice? The current head of the Wang family is Wang Sheng's eldest brother. Hearing that such a big thing happened in the city, he immediately went to the escort team to find his younger brother to inquire about the situation. Not long after Wang Sheng rushed back to the escort team, he thought of those the dead team member was heartbroken. But he was placed under a ban and could not say anything related to it. "Wang Sheng, are you okay?" The familiar voice made Wang Sheng kneel down on the ground, startling his elder brother. This younger brother has been extremely strong since he was a child. He wants to compare with others everywhere. He has never knelt down for him. "Brother, please contact father and meet me," Wang Sheng said it loudly and solemnly, which shows that the matter is by no means simple. The reason why the 4 major families stand firm in Feiyang King City is because each of them has an 8th level martial king. There is a 9th level Yunhai realm. With the Feiyang Holy Lord of Heaven and the 4 8th grade martial kings, how dare ordinary people come to cause trouble? It is precisely because of this that Feiyang King City is famously a safe and orderly place in the nearby continent, with many merchants. Wang Sheng's my father is the 8th grade martial king of the Wang family. In order not to fall behind others, he spent most of the year practicing in seclusion, hoping to advance as soon as possible. Unless there is a major problem that cannot be solved, no one dares to disturb his father's seclusion at will. This is the lifeblood of the entire family. And Genji. The two went directly to the Wang family's forbidden area, passed through layers of various formations, and came to a pagoda. The pagoda didn't look big, and there was only room for one person inside. But there were looming chains at the bottom of the tower. But it is connected with many formations, gathering the power of the avenue together for the people in the tower to use. Just standing outside the tower, you can see the steaming and entangled power of the avenue. Cultivating here will naturally make rapid progress. Wang Tianlin did not after entering a meditative state, he sensed the person coming and immediately stopped his power and walked out of the tower. How Sheng why are you here? Wang Shen knelt on the ground without saying a word, straightened up for a long time, and looked straight at his father. This. As a father, of course Wang Tianlin knew that he was asking for something, so he quickly looked at Wang Sheng. He looked a little haggard. Wang Tianlin put his big hand on Wang Sheng's shoulder to explore. How unreasonable! How dare someone put a ban on you? After all, he is an 8th grade martial king. Those who are lower than his cultivation can easily detect the hands and feet. The ban is placed in the sea of consciousness. Even Wang Tianlin must be careful. It is difficult to cure injuries in the sea of consciousness with elixirs. For the future realm of cultivation will have a great impact. Bang! A slight sound rang out, and Wang Sheng felt his head and heart lighten at the same time. He exhaled sharply and told the whole story, including the death of his guard team members. Sooner or later, such a matter cannot be hidden, and it can be easily solved by his father's intervention. Wang Tianlin's pupils shrank for a while, and he couldn't believe his ears. Qin Changsheng? At such a young age, he has already become a saint in swordsmanship? Go and call that kid Zionjiao. Wang Zionjiao applied for a jade identity card for Qin Changsheng, and he might have more important information to provide. Who knew that as soon as Wang Tianlin saw Wang Zionjiao, his face turned as black as iron. His anger made the air around him compressed and deformed. Is this kid bullying anyone in my Wang family? They even placed a ban on my grandson. This is a naked challenge to my Wang family. If I don't kill this son, what will others think of my Wang family? Qin Changsheng, I will have a battle with you. Wang Zionjiao and Wang Sheng, who had been released from the ban, felt like they were reborn. At the same time, they were filled with pride. So what if you are a young saint? The 8th grade martial king is an existence that you cannot shake. Die, little thief. Wang Tianlin and he did not immediately look for traces of Qin Changsheng, but said to his 2 sons, didn't the Holy Son have dinner with the child named Luo before he disappeared? The news spread, saying that he murdered all the sons of God. Whether Qin Changsheng has this ability or not, if he makes so many enemies at once, he will have an easier time. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 252. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Lord, you have successfully robbed the Saint Gu Menjao of the Burning Sea Holy Land. The rewards are being calculated. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Lord, you successfully plundered the Holy Land of Dangxia Holy Land, Songzhen, and the rewards are being calculated. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Master for successfully plundering the Holy Maiden Bailey Qing of the Tiandao section. The rewards are being calculated. 3 waves of mysterious energy flowed into the body, and the feeling of abundance was so satisfying. Qin Changsheng was even thinking that if every time the saints came in groups in the future, the taste would be, tisk tisk tisk, so greedy. But now that his level has become higher, 3 experience packs are no longer enough. This time there was no direct promotion. Wang Tianlin has called Wang Sheng to inquire about the progress of the matter. How is it? Has the message been sent? Yes, father, through the relationship between the 4 major families, the news was delivered to the Holy Master of the sect without fail. Wang Tianlin snorted coldly and said, dissatisfied, are these old men waiting for news of our action? It's really treacherous. Everyone has been told that Qin Changsheng's identity is fake, but he still dares not take action. Wasn't it their son who died? Wang Sheng also sighed. In the final analysis, they are relying on City Master Fi Yang to invite them here, and feel that City Master Fi Yang should bear some responsibility. Wang Tianlin laughed angrily, with a ferocious expression on his face. He looked at his son as if he were an idiot. The strength of the city lord, even if they are not responsible, what can they do? In the final analysis, this world is based on strength. In terms of power, I am Fei Yang City Lord, and he manages the entire royal city. Your people died here, and we have the responsibility to investigate. But whether we can find out. But it depends on the city lord. What's more, the city lord is still practicing in seclusion. Since these suffering masters don't want to contribute, just add fuel to their fire. You go with me. Didn't Qin Changsheng rob many sects? Let's also join in the fun, Wang Tianlin said with a smile. Wang Tianlin also put on a black suit, making it difficult to identify his identity. Father, sir, which station should we go to first? Wang Sheng hurriedly changed his story to avoid exposing his identity. Go to the Dangxia Holy Land. Wang Tianlin has received a lot of news about Qin Changsheng in the past few days, especially when he heard that he came all the way to rob, and his cultivation level improved very quickly. He got a little thought. Which of those sects doesn't have some strength? Maybe he is hiding what kind of secret treasure elixir can improve your cultivation? Very few people will auction treasures of this level, and even if they do, they will fetch a sky-high price. In this case, why can't I learn Qin Changsheng's advanced technology and go to rob it? Dress up as with the appearance of others. If the master of suffering came to visit, he would just frame it on Qin Changsheng. He wanted to see if anyone wanted to seek revenge on Qin Changsheng. But when they flew to the Dangxia Holy Land, they discovered that it had become a ruin. Some of the ruins still have the aura of law on them, obviously they have experienced a great battle. I can still feel the aura of the law, which means I haven't left very soon. Let's go to the nearby station to have a look. The group of people took the aircraft in a large circle. It took a lot of time, but what they saw were decadent and dilapidated buildings. And there was a lot of law aura left on the buildings. It makes me so angry. I was actually deceived by this little thief. I was wondering before, why would it be necessary to activate the power of law when a place like the station can be destroyed easily? It turns out you are playing me here. You are deliberately acting for me. 8th grade Marshal King Wang Tianlin finally got angry. Kill him. Wang Tianlin arranged for people to investigate in different directions. He wanted to find Qin Changsheng and kill him. Qin Changsheng was very cunning and used roundabout tactics to escape. Only he could escape. With the strength of his 8th grade Marshal King, if he killed him, all those treasures would not be lost. It's his own. I actually wanted to give him away to someone else before, it was really a mistake. Fortunately, it's not too late now, there's still time. Young master, I received news, something serious has happened. Ling Mi hurriedly ran out. She left ghost puppets outside many of the robberies, thinking that if someone wanted to take revenge, she could give a warning in advance. Unexpectedly, she received crazy feedback from the ghost puppets today. Many people are looking for traces of Qin Changsheng. There are many people, and the speed is very fast. Qin Changsheng is not worried at all. He drank a cup of spiritual tea with his hands stained with ink, and said slowly, "Don't worry. I'm afraid they won't be able to find me." As soon as Wang Sheng and Wang Xianjiao's ban was lifted, Shang Guanshishi immediately informed him. The only person in the Wang family who could unlock Shang Guanshishi's ban was Wang Tianlin, one of the 4 8th grade martial kings. It's just the 8th level of Yunhai realm, so it's nothing to be afraid of. The mentality of the saints is about to collapse. The 8th level of Yunhai realm, just? Do you think everyone is like you and become a saint by eating, drinking, and having fun? Do you know that this person is only a practitioner at the 8th level of Yunhai realm? With this identity, he can walk sideways in Fei Yang King City. Even his entire family can walk sideways. I can't think about it anymore. It's really more difficult for people to die than others. Even if I thought I was a saint from a sect, he is the proud son of heaven. He only found out after he was captured and made a little maid. Saints like them are poor people here. The proud son of heaven, is the Qin Changsheng who said that it is so easy to become a saint. What a bad son. So irritating. Qin Changsheng looked at them all looking angry but extremely worried, and smiled. Don't worry. Although I am a bad person, I keep my word. If you are really worried about me, practice hard and don't slack off. Murong concubine and several other saints who had a vague sense of breakthrough entered the spiritual lake of Linglong immortal mansion without saying a word. Although they didn't understand why, the young master was right. He didn't advance this time. Never leave the seclusion. On the other side, someone finally discovered the flying palace and reported it immediately. Wang Tianlin set out as soon as he got the news. He, the 8th level martial king, was a little too comfortable. His sword has not been unsheathed for too long, but it has not rusted yet. This time, Qin Changsheng will be used to sacrifice his sword. Little thief! Come out and die. Wang Tianlin stood down from a high position, looking down at the flying palace below him. There was no movement. Little thief! Don't pretend to be dead. Come out and challenge. No movement. Wang Tianlin. Could it be that, at such a young age, my hearing is already bad? Just when Wang Tianlin was hesitant, a gap opened in the door of the flying palace, and a faint voice came. It's a mess, I'm not sure what I mean. Are you here to look for your long-lost grandfather? Come on, Grandpa is here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 253. The people following behind Wang Tianlin were all the children of his Wang family. The Wang family has already planned to snatch everything from Qin Changsheng. Of course, only your own people are required to be present, in case anyone wants a piece of the pie. Most of the Wang family's children have never seen their ancestor take action, and they look up with admiration. Haha, boy, are you trying to anger me? Wang Tianlin seemed to have seen through Qin Changsheng's trick and asked with some pride. Qin Changsheng did not answer and asked, when you curse people, do you feel good? Of course it is. Wang Tianlin stopped mid-sentence. Everyone I scolded has made a big mistake. Qin Changsheng said lukewarmly, so principled. Sorry, I scolded you just because, it's cool. Very cool. The Wang family disciples standing below were stunned. Although this theory sounds sound, they still feel that something is wrong. Huh? Did he just say that he scolded his ancestor? You thief! It's like lighting a lamp in the toilet and seeking death. Is your ancestor someone you can humiliate? Take your life. I don't think he knows the power of the 8th grade martial king at all. If he wants to die, I will let him die. Wang Tianlin felt relieved when he heard Qin Changsheng being scolded. They are all my people. What do you want to do this time? Are you still happy? Qin Changsheng was not annoyed at all, and even nodded cooperatively. You guys, the scoldings are all good. Just now This is how your ancestor scolded you 10 times more powerfully. Wang Tianlin saw it in his heart and was even more angry at Qin Changsheng, so much as 100%. How can a person be so shameless? His disciples and grandchildren scolded him, but he said that he had returned 10 times the amount. Their ancestor, a direct slap in the face was not so painful. Everyone in the Wang family looked at Qin Changsheng angrily. A dying man can still be so hateful. A golden halo of light swayed from Wang Tianlin's side, and the sound of the avenue burst out. He opened up his king's domain, covering 800 miles around him. Wang Tianlin did not hide anything and directly revealed the strength of the 8th grade martial king. The faces of the Wang family's children turned red with excitement. This is the foundation of his Wang family. Fei Yang King City's most powerful, one of the strongest. Under the 8th grade martial king, no one can surpass him. Qin Changshen took a sip of fairy tea with a relaxed expression, not at all like a lamb trapped in the realm of great power. Wang Tianlin looked at it coldly, a cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Looking at your calm look, I really appreciate you. Should I say that you are big-hearted, or should I say that, a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers? Qin Changshen was finally willing to look at him, and the system also sent Wang Tianlin's information at this time. Name, Wang Tianlin. Realm, 8th level Martial King. Physique, innate sword heart sacred body. Bloodline, King level barbarian bear beast bloodline, thin. Combat skills, the 7th grade Xian level combat skill Gus hand spirit monkey body technique, perfect. The 8th grade Xian level combat skill drawing sword and cutting water Ju, perfect. The 8th level Xian level combat skill Hondeo, perfect. The 8th level Xian level combat skill Hondeo, perfect. Xian level combat skill air knife slash, perfection. Wang Xianjiao looked at his ancestor and couldn't help being excited. The pressure brought by the great Dao mark gave him a complete sense of security. The kind of control that Qin Changshen had before, finally disappeared. At this moment, the handsome young man of the Wang family is back again. Grandpa, this kind of person deserves to die. It's really the reincarnation of heaven. After so many sect treasures have been robbed, all of them will eventually belong to my Wang family. He has long had fantasies about Qin Changshen's saint girl group. If Grandpa kills him, from now on, the beauty will belong to him, Wang Xianjiao. Seeing Qin Changshen take out the gukun unhurriedly, Wang Xianjiao laughed arrogantly and said, in my ancestor's domain, do you still want to use the power of heaven and earth? So what if you become a saint? This is not your field, so you are still an ant. Oh, is it so? So it turns out that your Wang family is so rampant because of this field. Qin Changshen seemed to be watching a joke. Under everyone's gaze, within 100 miles around him, a rich golden light shone out. Qin Changshen's domain was finally opened. Although it was only 100 miles away. What's going on with this golden color that's richer than Wang Tianlin's? And there are so many avenue marks in the domain. It's complicated and confusing. What's going on, can anyone explain it to me? Why, this is obviously only the domain of the first level of Yunhai realm. Being able to support the domain within the domain of the ancestor, is this the ancestor, has he given up? The voice of the great avenue is clearer than the ancestors. Am I having a nightmare? Why didn't the ancestor break his territory? You must be trying to play with him. Wang Tianlin was no less shocked than anyone else, or even more. No one knows better than him the tyranny in his own field. This is a field that he has practiced for many years. Years of immersion in the field have given him control is more comfortable. How could he give his opponent a chance to support his own domain? But, no matter how much pressure he exerted, Qin Changshen's domain remained strong without any shaking. This is impossible. Wang Tianlin's heart began to there was a trace of doubt. The person opposite, was really just a 19-year-old young man? If you can't use this kind of person for your own use, then destroy him. A golden knife-shaped mark appeared between Wang Tianlin's eyebrows. At the same time, his whole aura also changed, suddenly increased, as if he had turned into a sword. Wang Tianlin directly activated his physique, the innate sword heart and body. In this way, combined with his sword skills, he can obtain geometric double the bonus. Wang Shen immediately put up a defensive shield to protect all the Wang family's children. The pressure of the 8th grade martial king's activated temperament is not something that ordinary people can withstand. Boy, come out and die. Wang Tianlin's fighting spirit was fierce, and his voice was as sharp as a sword. Qin Changshen shook his head, it's not enough. Where is your bloodline? Let's stimulate it together. This kind of request, no one here has ever heard of it. Are you planning to see your opponent's most powerful form before you die? Can you respect each other a little bit? I am an 8th grade martial king, and I need to use up my physique and blood to deal with you. Do you want to leave a legend for yourself? Wang Tianlin was immediately laughed out of anger, with an old face smiling ferociously. Okay, okay, okay. Before I die, I will also let you see. What is the strength of the 8th grade martial king? Boom. The air seemed to be compressed and exploded on the spot, and the loud noise was like an auditory hallucination, which stung everyone's eardrums. Behind Wang Tianlin, the phantom of a wild bear beast appeared, which was enough to be hundreds of battles high. The bear beast phantom roared towards the sky, as if it was sucking in the power of the avenue in the air, and the entire phantom was gradually becoming solid. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 254. Roar. The barbarian bear roared, and thick fur appeared on its body, comparable to a battle armor. 100-foot-long king beast, majestic. The golden color of Wang Tianlin's 800 miles domain became rich at this moment. Use all your strength, the ultimate battle. As he raised his hand, the black mad sword that had been brewing for a long time was slowly raised. The terrifying coercion came over, and it pounced on everything in the field indiscriminately. The 8th grade martial king was so angry that he was so terrifying. Seeing Qin Changsheng strumming the strings unhurriedly, Lu Ruyan behind him was worried. What is this bad guy doing? There is a gap between them, and he is still so careless. Ding. The sound of the piano was clear and crisp. Qin Changsheng, who was playing the piano, was like a banished immortal descending to the earth, unstained by the mortal world. Seeing the black mad sword about to hit the palace, but he resisted. Everyone present was dumbfounded. The giant sword turned into by the sound of the piano, golden ancient characters shone all over his body, and he withstood the blow of the mad sword. The pressure caused by the collision of the swords made the people below feel tight in their chests and almost spit out a mouthful of blood. It was just the residual power. With such power, on top of the crazy sword, what would it be like? Everyone had a splitting headache, and they couldn't think of the most reasonable explanation. I didn't expect that someone with a first-level cultivation would be able to catch a blow from an 8th grade martial king. The strength of this 8th grade martial king isn't that great either. Everyone looked at Qin Changsheng in disbelief. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? You are really confident. You are not good at anything. If you have the ability, show it. No, it seemed like he really caught the blow. The Wang family's mentality began to explode. But they still tried to comfort themselves. This was the ancestors' first blow, just sprinkle water to see the opponent's level. They deliberately didn't think about it. A cultivator of the first level of Yunhai realm, without activating his physique and bloodline, how did he attack next? Wang Tianlin was even more teeth-chatting. He really felt the power of the law in the sonic attack. In other words, Qin Changsheng is a saint who proves the Tao with his harp. So what? Such a huge gap in realm cannot be bridged by just one Qin's Hideo. Qin Changsheng heard Wang Tianlin's words and nodded lightly. What you said makes sense. Then, improve your strength a little and give it a try. Improve your strength. Everyone almost doubted their ears. Did they hear it correctly? Qin Changsheng also hid his strength. I'm really speechless. You are so much worse than the 8th grade martial king. There is no point in hiding it like this. The next scene confirmed that Qin Changsheng was not lying. His king's territory, in full view of everyone, expanded by 100 miles. 200 miles of king's territory. Such a young Yunhai realm second heaven. Why? This must be a fake. Maybe he took some secret medicine or used some secret technique. What are you afraid of? What about the second heaven? Before the crowd's exclamations stopped, Qin Changsheng made another move. The king's domain expanded again, covering 300 miles. Qin Changshen, who retracted his hand, looked down with a smile, and said with a kind face, "I'm afraid you think it's not enough. Is it enough now?" Everyone was dumbfounded. "If we can't say enough, can you really add more?" Qin Changshen remained silent, covering 400 miles. Monster. Under heavy pressure, most of the Wang family's children below sat on the ground, running wildly true Yuan resistance. "Shishi, go and clean up the little ones, leave this old one to me," Qin Changsheng smiled evilly, finally revealing the face of the devil. Shangguan Shishi Yunhai Realm's 5th level strength can still move freely under pressure. Anyway, the biggest threat, Wang Tianlin, is being watched by the young master. Watch. Shangguan Shishi's expression on those Wang family children below was cold. But she remembered clearly that these people had insulted the young master. Anyone who insults the young master will die. Containing the anger of a strong man in the 5th level of Yunhai realm, De Yun's palm print smashed down like a dark cloud. Wang Sheng couldn't control that much, so he could only shrink the protective shield to protect himself and Wang Xianjiao. Of course Wang Tianlin couldn't just watch the family. After the disciple was beheaded, he immediately swung his sword energy to stop Shangguan Shishi. With a full blow, he was about to kill Shangguan Shishi. There was only a tinkling sound of the piano, and the sword energy was directly clenched by a big hand transformed into sound waves. Click. With a sound, the sword energy disappeared. Wang Tianlin was furious. "Your woman is at the 5th level of Yunhai realm, and she actually went to slaughter innocent children who are so much lower than you. Do you still have a conscience?" Innocent conscience. Qin Changsheng almost laughed out of anger and spat out a few words. "You are in a higher realm than me. The 8th grade martial king who is hundreds of years old came here specially to hunt down a 19-year-old Yunhai realm. Where is your conscience? Was it eaten by a dog?" Wang Tianlin's face turned pale and he was speechless. "No matter what, how can you take someone's life without any injustice or enmity? I will make you pay with blood." Wang Tianlin was heartbroken seeing the blood of his family members all over the ground. Qin Changsheng seemed to feel his helplessness and retorted, "You are older than me. Old comrades don't talk about martial arts. Young people learn from each other. You come and I go, it's fair. If the situation is reversed, can the Wang family let him go? Even if he talks about Lotus, I'm afraid it won't change at all." Qin Changshen, even a little unfinished, he looked at Wang Tianlin carefully while neutralizing Wang Tianlin's attack. "I noticed, you have less hair than me." Wang Tianlin was very angry. "She's not a big girl. How can you compare your hair growth with me? Are you sick? You should take medicine if you are sick. Less hair, bad kidneys. Old man, you can't survive." This time, Wang Tianlin really couldn't help it anymore, and he spurted out a mouthful of old blood. "No matter which world, the thing that men hate to hear the most is that you can't do it." Being questioned about whether you can do it or not has already made his blood surge, plus seeing that his son Wang Sheng and his eldest grandson Wang Xianjiao were all turned into a puddle of flesh. Under the double blow, his whole momentum weakened. At the same time, one was going down and the other was going up. Qin Changshen's the aura became more and more compelling, as if he was rising for the first time, and his sharp edge was revealed. His clothes were fluttering, and the guqin floated in front of him. The golden light flowed freely on the strings, and the raging fighting spirit rushed toward his face. Wang Tianlin suddenly raised his head and looked at Qin Changshen. His eyes were filled with madness, and he said word by word, "You hurt the foundation of my Wang family, you are very good. I swear by the power of the Great Road, you and I will fight until death." Wang Tianlin's aura began to increase crazily, and the power of the avenue became more intense, approaching the strength of the 9th level of Yunhai realm. The eyeballs and whites of the eyes were covered with bloodshot layers, until they were completely blood red. This is my royal family's secret method. Even if you try hard to improve your cultivation, I will cramp and skin you to pay homage to the souls of my children and grandchildren in heaven.